Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Matthew Weeks, and today I'm going to be showing you how I balance my budget in YNAB. Obviously, I'm going to blur out some of the numbers just for my own protection or whatever, I guess. But this is kind of just my general process. I try to do this at least once a week. In my prime, in my best times, I'm doing this every day. And it really just gives me a way of checking in with my financial situation and knowing where my money's going, how much money I have, what I can budget towards other things, and pretty much anything else that I need to really know. So my budget here syncs up about May 31st. So today I'm gonna have to go through quite a bit of budgeting. So I'm just gonna quickly start this, and I'll probably speed this up so you can kind of see the process, but I'm just going to go through my credit card statement here, and I'm going to add everything into my budget over here. So let's start. Now you'll see that I'm going through each of these manually. Now you don't actually have to do this with YNAB. You can set it to auto select or auto connect your account and to auto sync. It actually just doesn't work with my account. But I decided to go with it anyway, and it's kind of like a problem with my credit card provider. However, I've actually found that as I'm doing this, it's actually a lot better, because by going through and having this regular routine that I have to kind of follow, it just means that I can actually see, and it's kind of like the money leaving my pocket in a way. If you've ever had that idea of spending cash versus spending on card, it's a lot easier to spend $100 on your credit card. But if you had to give somebody a $100 bill, I assume that would have more impact. And that's something that my uncle taught me. But what I've found personally, just from trying the same thing, is doing this gives me the same impact as giving out that dollar bill, while it's also being even more trackable. So I still have to physically feel the money kind of mentally leave my account, but I pay with my card, and after the fact I can go through and I can balance everything, and I can see where my money is going and where it should have gone. Now as you're watching this, you'll see that for each item I'm actually selecting a category. This is a part of YNAB, and it's kind of the foundation of it, is you go through and figure out exactly what you're going to spend on, and you're not forecasting your money, you're not spending money that you haven't earned yet on your credit card. I've actually got all of this money budgeted for so that I can pay it off immediately. What I'm actually doing here is I'm assigning a budget, and that's going to take the money out of an account that I've established, and that's going to give me something to spend from, instead of spending money up front and having to figure out how to pay for it after the fact. So here I am realizing that I don't actually have a budget somehow for soap and for other assorted household goods. I think I've kind of treated that as something that, I buy once in a while, and so I just slip it into another category here and there. Normally ends up on my grocery bill, but since I bought my soap from Amazon, which I hate Amazon, but whatever. I bought my soap on Amazon this week, so I'm gonna actually add a category right now. So it's a cool opportunity to kind of show you what that looks like. So as you can see, I have my Amazon purchase right here. I have a category that I'm creating, and so what I'm gonna do most of the time is I like to put a little symbol, like an emoji, to kind of like represent what I'm trying to get out of this. So there's a sponge. So I'm going to use the broom as an emoji, and I'm going to say household supplies. And I'm going to hit save there. Now that's created the category. And so I can just kind of write a description here. And then I'm going to write down the price, 608. Enter. And so when I go back in, I'll show you how to actually pull things from that category. All right, so now that I've added all of my expenses to my budget, I can go in and rebalance things and make sure that my accounts are all up to date. Now you'll notice that some of these are over budget, and in theory that meant that in the past I would end up in debt, which is not great. But because I'm using YNAB and because I'm doing zero-based budgeting, I've actually got all of my money accounted for. So now I can go in to any of my over budget categories and rebalance things. And so I already know that I have the cash available, and now it's just a matter of prioritizing my expenses. As you can see, I only have about $2.60 left to budget, but of course I'm over budget by more than that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take my rent, which I know isn't due for about a month now, and move that into to be budgeted. Now that's freed up about $1,400, and so now I can go in and balance my budget. So I'm just gonna go in, click on an item, and cover the expense. Got an item. Now I'm gonna cover the expense, but because this is household supplies, this is a new item that I've just added to my budget. So there's no goal for this. You'll notice that some of these are yellow, and that means that they have a goal, they have money in the account, but they're not funded with enough money to cover my monthly goal. So for this, I'm gonna show you how to set up a goal. I have my household supplies goal, so I'm gonna create that. You know, I spent about $608. I could imagine spending another $8 to $10 this month. So I'm just gonna put it as $15, assuming that it'll go off, you know, month to month, it might change. So I'm gonna create a need for spending budget, and I'm gonna make it monthly. And it's gonna continue to accumulate over time, but that's good. So I'm gonna save that goal, and now you can see it expects me to complete the budget. So I'm gonna add another $8.92, and now it's fully funded. And so next time I have to buy some soap, I can afford it. And so now I'm gonna go through and just complete all of my over budget categories. And I renewed my membership temporarily for Amazon Prime. Again, not planning on using them in the future, but it's a good deal, and I kind of need stuff soon. Now I've got $386 left. I could put that back into my rent, but I also still know that it's not due for a while, so I'm going to top up all my accounts. So I've got my grocery budget. I can add this to writing supplies. I need to buy a new notebook. I plan on doing some laundry this week. My medication is about to run out, so I need that. I might want to buy some supplements because I'm trying to get back into shape for the summer. Vaccine summer. Not that I'm going to be doing, but you know, it's nice to be. I'm going to add some hair care, even though I am not risking. No, you know what? I'm not going to risk my life for a haircut. So I'm going to add all of this to my budgeting. And you can see that I've got categories in here that are for a variety of things. You know, I've got float therapy on here. You probably won't have that. You might have it. I like to budget for the baseline stuff first. And then over time, I've kind of found several different categories where I realized, you know what? It'd be nice to be able to spend this. And what's cool about this budgeting style is it's just another category. So it's not a guilty thing, or it's not a decision of like, oh, am I going to be frugal this month or not? Because it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I'm gonna have the money in my budget either way. So what I choose to spend on, I should be realistic about and just assume that it's really gonna happen. I don't judge myself for the money that I spend, and I don't try and cut back too much on things that I actually really enjoy. Now, the other thing is, by doing this regularly, I actually check in with my goals and kind of get an idea of what I am making progress towards, where I'm messing up. So I do have the opportunity to trim my budget quite a bit each week. And that's why I try to do this at least once a week. Sometimes I'll do it daily, but at least once a week is enough for me to kind of get an idea and to not kind of go over, and definitely not to build any debt. As you can see, I have my balance here for my credit card. It's, you know, it's a lot for right now, but that's just because I haven't paid it in the last month or two. I put all my expenses on my credit card and I can pay it. I have the money in my account and I've already budgeted that money. I do this budget weekly so that I can get a boots on the ground view of where I am right now and where I'm about to go in the future. But in order to plan and to make goals, I want to be able to have more high level view. So as you can see, you know, week to week, I will adjust my goals slightly. I'll add things to a budget. I will reduce my goals for a particular budget. I might add new categories to my budget. But on a grander scale and for setting long-term goals, I want to make sure that I, you know, give myself some time. And so I do that on a quarterly basis. And so in the future, I will have another video where I show you how I use a personal finance statement that I created. It's a template that I use once every quarter to kind of go through and actually map out exactly what money I have, where it is, how much money I owe. And I've used this pretty effectively. The last year I started doing this, and I've only really done one, but my next one I'm really excited about because I've actually paid off a significant amount of my debt as a result of doing that. During that exercise, I realized it was going to take me much longer than I would like to pay off my debt. And I got to thinking, what if I reduced some of my budget? You know, what if I shifted things around? What if I changed my priorities? And by increasing my budget towards my debt, I've actually managed to pay off almost half of all of my student loans in about half a year. And so I plan on completing this very soon. I'm going to adjust, and it'll be just an opportunity for me to kind of sit down and see how far I've come from that time. It's really exciting, and I look forward to it. That's really the purpose of building these systems, is so that, you know, I have regular check-ins, I can kind of track my goals, and I can just feel accountable to myself. And it's an opportunity for me to reward myself. Now, if you enjoy this type of lifestyle engineering content, feel free to subscribe down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like me to cover in the future, please leave a comment down below. If you like this content and want to see more lifestyle engineering tips from me, you can go and subscribe down below. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. All right, take care.